Welcome to Bird Spray Sports Talk, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts TJ and Jared. And I just wanted to say an apology. We usually have these pregame videos out a little bit earlier, but I was sick this week, so that delayed things. So, I just want to issue an apology from my end. Of delaying up our schedule. But, anyways, we're going to be doing the pregame for the Ravens versus Jaguars. And, this is a very big game, later on in the season, at Jacksonville, a place in which we have struggled a lot in the past to win a ball game. It's usually been one of those very low scoring defensive games where the offense just is like a pee-wee football offense. So, hopefully, this Sunday night is different. Hopefully we can learn from those previous games and hopefully this Jaguars game could be like the Jaguars game in 2020 where we just crushed them.
Right.
But, I'll lead it on to you. How are your feelings about this game tonight?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is when we play in Jacksonville, but we just leave our brains in Baltimore, I guess, for some reason. I mean, we could think back to 2011, we could think back to last year. Back in 2016 when we won that game, like there was just it was like pick for pick, at the end of the game, Blake Bortles versus Flacco pick fest.
Mhm.
Um, and then obviously last year, like I said, where we blew that lead and it just really turned around the Jaguars. So, this is different circumstances this year. They're a proven team now, and they're proven like to be good. So, it's not going to be as disappointing as if we lose. This game has a lot riding on it, just for the fact that we can clinch a playoff berth. We can eliminate the Steelers and the Bengals from the division contention, and it'll really only be the Browns who are our biggest threats. Yeah, I think that this game is incredibly important for a ton of reasons, and hopefully we understand the basics of football today. So, and also good news is that Kyle Hamilton will be playing this week. But I'm also I was kind of in the boat of letting him play, but like after some thought, like after like stuff that you said and whatnot, I was like, maybe we should let him rest this week, just to give him 100%, maybe for the 49ers game, or at least for the home stretch. But I mean, they're playing him, so he must be 100%. At least I hope that's the fact. That's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I want to point out, the Jaguars have a sneaky good offense. They can be very efficient at times. They have ETN, Lawrence. They have Calvin Ridley. Alvin Ingram's been doing pretty solid. So, there's definitely some guys on the offense we have to watch out for.
Yeah.
And hopefully Kyle Hamilton, can. I feel like they'll sort of pace him out throughout the game. Not too much heavy reps, maybe like a little bit, of a snap count or something. But hopefully he's able to, kind of get back into like 85% of himself.
Right. I
So
agree.
you want to look over some stats or something?
Yep. Yep.
All
Let
right.
me just share my screen. All right. So here are the stats here. Um, Trying to get all this out the way. All right, can you see good?
Yes, sir.
All right, so for the Jaguars' overall statistics, their points per game, they scored 24 points per game, which is ninth in the league. Yards per play, which is not yards per game is 342.7, which is 12th in the league. Points per play, is well, we're not going to talk about that one. What is points per play exactly? Like, what would you even consider that? Like, I don't know.
You know
We should
what?
probably look up these stats before we start talking about them. But yards per play is 5.2, which is 17th in the league. Third down conversion rate is 37.5, which is 19th in the league, and fourth down conversion is 47.3, 37 percent, which is 19th in the league. Red zone scoring percentage, touchdowns is 57.9 pretty much, which is 12th in the league, and touchdowns per game is pretty much at 3, but just 2.6, which is ninth in the league. Jags defense, opponents' points per game is 22.3, which is 19th in the league. Opponents' yards per game is 357.4, which is 25th in the league. Yardage. Opponents' yards per play is 5.6, pretty much 6, which is 27th in the league. Opponents' third down conversion is 35.43%, which is sixth in the league, and opponents' fourth down conversion rate is 51.6, which is 18th in the league. Sorry. Opponent red zone scoring touchdowns is 56.41%, which is 17th in the league, and opponent's touchdowns per game, which is 2.7 in the league. Which 2.7, which is 21st in the league. Sorry. Their rushing statistics. Do you want to read any, or do you want me to go? I don't want you to be
Eh,
reading too much. I know you just came off just being sick.
Oh, no, I got you. I got you. So
Okay.
Jaguars rushing statistics. Rush play percentage 42.25. That is 16th in the league. So kind of, average.
Mhm.
Yards per rush 3.6, which is it's just not that good. That's 31st in the league. They have 28 rushes per game, which is 10th in the league. So they like to run the ball a lot. You
Mhm.
know, we're not surprised. They have Travis Etienne, one of the best young runners in the league. They get 99.8 rush yards per game. And they get about 1.2 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns per game, which is sixth in the league. So they have a pretty strong running game. I say they're a little bit balanced too, like the Chargers, which is interesting. And their rushing defense, opponent rush yard play percentage is 36.47. So it seems like their opponents like to run the ball against them a lot, which they don't.
They don't like to run the ball against them.
Okay,
Only
okay,
36 points, so they like to throw it probably. See, look, they throw it more 63% of the time.
okay. Okay.
So,
They don't like to run the ball. Okay, so their run defense.
I just go ahead. I'll go over when you go. Sorry.
Okay. Their opponent yards per rush is basically 4 yards per rush, 11th in the league. Opponent rushes per game 23.2, which is fourth in the league. Opponent rush yards per game 92.2, which is number fifth in the league. Opponent rushing touchdowns per game is 0.8. So, rushing defense they have is pretty good.
Yep. And you could see on these statistics passing wise are going to prove why they don't run the ball as
Right,
much,
yeah.
and
Okay.
you could probably read it along as I go, but for the Jaguars offense, pass play percentage is 57.8, which is 17th in the league. Completion percentage is 67.1, which is sixth in the league. Yards per pass is 6.9, or pretty much no, I'm sorry, which is pretty much like seven, which is 10th in the league. Passes per game is pretty much at 36, which is 11th in the league. Passing yards per game. Yeah, I almost said passing touchdowns per game. Imagine throwing 242 touchdowns in a game. But passing yards per game is 243, pretty much, which is ninth in the league. Interception thrown percentage is 2.15 percent, which is 14th, and QB sack percentage is 66.61%, which is 13th in the league. And this is probably why the defense they don't get ran on a lot, is because their opponent's plays per game percentage is 63.5, which is 30th in the league. Opponent completions percentage is 65.7, which is 19th in the league. Opponent yards per pass is pretty much 7 yards, which is
Wow.
24th in the league. Opponent passes per game is almost at 40, at 38%, at 31st in the league. Opponent pass yards per game is almost at 266. It's 265.2, which is 31st in the league. And opponent interceptions thrown percentage is 22.61%, which is 12th in the league. So they're middle of the pack there. And sack percentage is 5.13%, which is 29th in the league. So they don't seem to be getting to the quarterback, maybe besides like Josh Allen or whatnot. But so yeah, you could definitely see why they don't get thrown on a lot. I mean, why they don't get ran on a lot. Their secondary seems to be kind of lacking, and they're already going to be missing, I believe, two safeties tonight. So that's going to be something to monitor. I mean, what is something that stands out to you? Like, is it that, or is it something different you could think about?
That definitely does stand out to me. And, another thing that stands out to me is, the streak that OBJ has been on. And he's been getting hot at the right time. And, so is Zay. I feel like our passing offense in general has really, started to pick up,
Mhm.
and in our own way, of course. I'm not going to say, we're like the 2013 Broncos or anything, but, in the Chargers game, the offense did, some nice things. There were some flashes in that game. Obviously in the Rams game that we just played, offense was incredible and, arguably won us the game, kept us in the game. And so I'm excited to see what we can do, against this banged up Jaguar secondary. I'm excited to see our guys continue to make plays and get more comfortable in Todd Monken's offense.
Right.
Uh, so that goes for OBJ, that goes for Zay, that goes for Bateman. I want to see a big Bateman play today, you know.
Hmm.
So that means a lot, that says a lot. Um,
Yep.
and honestly, I'll say about their defense, I forgot completely about Josh Allen. And it's no shot to him because he's great, but he's just another guy to look out for, that can wreck
Yep.
the game for us. So,
Yep.
how about you? What do you make of that, of their
I pretty much already gave my like say is that they just really don't have like that good of a secondary, and I really agree with you. I mean, we got to see our guys perform today in a beat up secondary. There's no excuse for them to be making plays on us today. So like OBJ's Bateman is likely Kolar for all I care. Y'all got to step up today and really expose their defense and their secondary. A lot of blown coverages last week versus the Browns. So
right?
something to look out for. But some uh what's it called? Jaguar statistics, individual players. I'll do offense, you'll do defense. Trevor Lawrence has 229 completions for 449 attempts, which is good for a 67 completion percentage. 3,261 yards, 7.3 average yards per play, I assume. 251 yards per game. His longest is 51 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Been sacked 31 times, and he's a 91.2 quarterback rating. Rushing stats, Travis Etienne has 219 carries, 806 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. Longest is 35, nine touchdowns, 62 yards per game. Um, let's see, the receiving leaders. Christian Kirk has 57 receptions on 85 targets, 787 yards, 13.8 yards per catch, three touchdowns. His longest is 57th, and his yards per game is 65.6, which is pretty much 66 yards per game. Calvin Ridley, like who you're mentioning. Well, I don't think Christian Kirk is playing at all anyway today, right?
No, no.
um, I think he's not playing until like the rest of the year. I don't think. But Calvin Ridley, 55 receptions, 97 targets, 742 yards, 13.5 yards per play, or yards per catch, five touchdowns. His longest is 45. And he averages 57 yards per game. Evan Ingram, their tight end, 84 receptions on 103 targets, 701 yards, 8.3 average yards per catch, three touchdowns. The longest is 34 and averages 53.9 yards per game. Travis Etienne out of the backfield has 44 receptions, 56 targets, 383 yards, 8.7 yards per catch, one touchdown. His longest is 56 yards, and 29.5 yards per game. And then Zay Jones. Is Zay Jones hurt? I don't think he's playing. I think Zay Jones is hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, he's
All
hurt.
right, so I guess we could just move on to the defense really quick.
Okay, so we have Foyesade Olakun. He has 90 solo tackles. No, I'm sorry, 138 total tackles. Yes, 138 total tackles, 90 of them solo, 48 assists. Um, Played in all games so far this season. We have Devin Lloyd, 99 total tackles, 57 of them solo, 42 of them assisted. He's played in 11 games this season. We have, and those two players I just mentioned were linebackers. We have Rayshawn Jenkins, who's a safety, played in all 13 games so far. He has 78 total tackles, 52 solo, 26 assisted. We have Andre Cisco, who is not playing tonight. He's played in 12 games this season. He has 56 total tackles with 38 solo and 18 assisted. Um, Josh Allen, who I was, we mentioned as being, could be a game wrecker in this game and could be a problem. He has 50 total tackles, with 33 solo, 17 assisted. He's played in all 13 games, which it kind of surprised me. I thought he'd have a little bit more. We have Darius Williams, who has played in all 13 games as well, has 42 total tackles, 35 solo, seven assisted. Uh, we have Tyson Campbell, who will not be playing in tonight's game. He's played in 8 games, so he's very injury prone
You
this
probably don't got
season.
to read off the stats then.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just finish it. He has 40 total tackles, 26 solo, 14 assisted. Um, and then we have Trey Hendon, cornerback. He's played in 12 games, 38 tackles, 26 solo, 12 assisted. Um, I'll just finish off with Trayvon Walker, since, all these other guys here.
The most forgettable number one overall
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. Trayvon Walker, former first round pick, has played in all 13 games so far, has 35 total tackles, 15 solo, 20 assisted. And I'll mention, Olakone, he has one pick, and so does Rayshawn Jenkins. Andre Cisco actually has three interceptions, so it's a good thing he's not playing tonight. Um, and Darius Williams has four interceptions, and Josh Allen himself even has a pick. So they definitely have some linebackers that have good ball skills, good hands, and you know,
Yep,
got to watch out for them in more ways than one.
for sure, man. For sure. And it's gonna be a windy mess there down in Jacksonville tonight, so really in probably like an hour or so, so it's just going to be they're going to have to just get the ball in the end zone, the best way that they can, and try to avoid these Justin Tucker long field goals in this game. And yeah, I mean, even with the win, I don't think Harbaugh's going to send him out there for a 40 something or 50 something yard field goal. It's just going to be interesting to see the differences between this year's and last year's game. Hopefully it's a difference in a good way, and I mean, give me your score predictions for this game. Like, if you have no other thoughts.
I feel like this game is going to be really close, and I
Mhm.
don't want it to, of course, but I could see this game being 24-17.
24-17.
Yeah.
Well, I got burned last week from calling a low score, so I'm gonna go higher this time, but not too much higher. I'm gonna go the Ravens winning 31, 31-20. I'm going 31-20. I'm gonna do a little bit of a sizable game
I like
for us.
that.
Not too much of a blowout, but a decent size win for us. And that's kind of my prediction for the game. Do you have any more thoughts on this on this upcoming Jaguars game?
Hmm. You know, I just I just really want to see. I really get trap game vibes from this. I really get like the type of vibes where, you know, these are the type of games that get to us. Where we just sort of lay an egg. We're coming off a very high emotional, high stakes game. Just very like livid and uplifting game, and we sort of kind of fall into our own mess after those type of
Yep.
games. So
Yeah.
I
So
really just want to see, how we're going to respond from that. Are we going to
right,
keep winning, or are we going to lay an egg? So
right. And consistency is going to be important,
yeah.
So that's kind of the biggest key in this game. And that's I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So, but we both got us winning, so I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah. So I think that's all we have for you guys today. Just a little pregame, before the game, right before the game comes out. My apologies about that. But yeah, hopefully we come back to you guys with a recap over a win. But this has been the pregame. Make sure you check out our social medias. They should be above us or below us. Make sure you check out our channel, Casual Cinema. And I hope you guys are having a safe night. Enjoy the Ravens game. We're Birds of Prey, TJ and Jared, and we're out.
Right.